My name is Aliandra and I am a sociology major in my 4th year, graduating in 2.5 months. It's interesting that you asked that, and I think that's a question that everyone gets asked, like, what does community mean? Because for me, I never thought about what community meant because I was always in it. I always had students that looked like me, my teachers looked like me, they talked like me, like we all thought the same, we act the same, we're from the same area, so we know how the world works in this environment. So when I got here, I was like, oh God, it's so different. And then I had to really start thinking about what does community mean and how can we be there for each other, not only because we're students of color, but because we're going through a lot of the same things. So how can we support one another? And so community for me is being supportive, and also being vulnerable and being okay with those two things, because you can be vulnerable and you can also receive the support that you need. And being in community is not only with people that look like you and act like you, it's also with people who may have similar interests but are completely different. So community is also about learning and being open with one another, and just trying to be open and receptive of all those different things that come up. So going to events, and then I also joined an e-board. So I was on Alianza Latinx for some time, and I think those are good ways to get involved on campus, but get involved in just seeing the students who are here and talking with them and getting to know more people and growing your networking circle is super important. And I think that's something that's so undervalued here, because people are like, oh, you're just on a club. And like, yeah, I'm just on a club, but I'm also gaining skills, and I'm learning how to do programming, and I'm learning how to talk to people and how to send proper emails and like who to be in contact with. And it's kind of it's a look at like what life is in the real world, even though you're a student. Second year, I made sure that it was like, this is where you live, but also this is where you learn, because that's what program housing is. And that year for me was very eye-opening in terms of like all of my intersectional identities as a woman and a woman of color, and not being from Burlington and having an identity crisis, and just like the importance of my name and how much I value that now. So all of those things were happening while I was trying to foster an environment for students that they would enjoy and be in. And so I was supportive for them, but in many ways they were supportive of me, because they were like, yeah, let's do these events, like let's create this environment. So I'm glad that I was able to do that for them, but in hindsight they also did it for me.